And we are back with the second episode of the GarageCast. Welcome again to everyone, and welcome back if you were one of our first-time listeners. This is Chester. I'm here coming again with Muss and Jerome from beautiful Muss's Garage, set up here with the doors open, enjoying the nice weather, and got the Cubs game on. So,
are you saying I'm beautiful or the garage is beautiful?
Everything is beautiful. How we doing, fellas?
I'm just elated that you called me beautiful.
Yeah.
We're doing well today, guys. We're doing great.
So, wanted to just kind of jump right in. First of all, glad to have any of you back again. Hope you enjoyed our first episode. Got some pretty good feedback, so we're going to come back and do it again with you guys. I think, of course, one of the biggest things going on right now, we can't really, I think, talk about what's happening in the world today without talking about this, was the death of the political commentator Charlie Kirk last week at the event at a university in Utah. Very sad event for many different reasons. First of all, he was, in my opinion, just a really nice guy. And before we get started on this, there's just one thing I feel like we need to share, but none of us are really experts on a lot of these topics that we talk about. We try our best to do some research and, not have any bad facts or anything. We try to do our best to bring you the truth. But, if we get something wrong, please fact check us on that. Let us know, because we don't want to be saying something that's not true. And the other thing is this, and I know this, things can get sometimes pretty heated with some political stuff. We're going to try to stay away from that as much as we can. But, anything we say is our own opinions. I don't speak for you guys, and I hope, you don't speak for me. Anything I say is just my own opinion, and same for everyone here. So, yeah. Charlie Kirk, 31 years old, was a political commentator, founder of Turning Point USA, which was a conservative political action group known for their public speaking events, appearances. He was a big supporter of President Trump. I think he played a huge role in getting him reelected this time around. And, as I'm sure everyone knows, was shot while holding a public debate event at a university in Utah. And, I think Charlie, in my opinion, was one of the nice guys. There's a lot of different conservative and liberal podcasters and commentators that are out there, and some of them get pretty gruff, pretty aggressive, and Charlie wasn't one of those guys. He really just tried to promote debate and discussion and, the free exchange of ideas. And, one of his most famous quotes that I remember hearing a long time ago was, "When people stop talking is when the violence starts," or something like that. Again, maybe not a direct quote. And the fact that he promoted that so hard, and that he was always open to having a discussion with people. If any of you have seen videos of his events, he would always say, "Hey, if you disagree with me, come to the front of the line. I want to hear your question. I want to talk to you about it." And while there are a lot of ideas that he said that people didn't agree with, never when I was watching his events did I find him to be insulting, to be aggressive, to demean people who had a different view than his. He simply tried to share his opinion and share his views and have an open discussion with people. And that's what I think makes this one pretty tragic, is that because of that, he was killed. And, it's kind of mind-boggling. So.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, Chester, the other piece that makes it so tragic is this. Like you said, he's a 31-year-old man, had his whole life in front of him. Doesn't matter what your politics are; that's too young to die. And also, a relatively new husband, and a pretty new father of two young children as well. So on that day. It wasn't a political activist that was murdered. It was a husband. It was a son. It was a friend, and it was a father. And that's what I think in our society gets overlooked by not. I don't know if it's a large portion, but a portion of society overlooks those factors and look at it as just this happened because of his politics, and that may be true. But there are other factors involved in that as well, and there's a whole lot of people that are going without somebody that they were dependent on in their life and that they counted on in their life because somebody didn't agree with them.
Yeah, and, I haven't been shy about sharing my feelings about any of this. I've posted some stuff on Facebook. I've, said how I feel about this and that. I mean, what you said is absolutely correct. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about, his politics and his beliefs, and that's who he was, sharing that with people. But, yeah, at the end of the day, it's like you said, he was a husband, he was a father, and incredibly young. I mean, 31 years old, and now his kids, I assume his daughter may have a few memories of him growing up. His 1-year-old son, I can't imagine, is just going to have to know about him through stories and through videos and through basically the experience of other people. And that's incredibly sad.
Yeah, thankfully, in this situation, there's a lot of videos and a lot of content and things that he has put out so that his kids can remember him forever and reference those things when they are missing him or feel like they don't know him. They can go back and see the conversations that he tried to have and everything that he's done. I think it's important to note that we only progress if we have conversations. And I think that was one of his biggest things is it doesn't matter what your opinion is. Let's have a conversation.
Right,
because
right.
maybe I don't agree with you. Maybe you don't agree with me. That's fine. But if we don't learn from one another and talk to one another, we're never going to get anywhere. We're just going to keep fighting and keep going at each other. And that doesn't get us anywhere. It doesn't get us anywhere as a country or as people.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It would take us backwards.
Absolutely.
Actually.
Yeah. I mean, and that's it. I think that's the message that if we're going to talk about this, that people need to focus on. It's absolutely correct. When we stop talking to each other is when, like you said, you resort to violence. And, again, it's weird to think about because when you look at, and I'm not trying to say that nobody deserves this no matter what your politics are, but you look at all these, there's a lot of other people out there who are a bit more confrontational. Just not to say anything against any of these people, but, you look at people like Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire, who is pretty aggressive with his public appearances. He stands by his beliefs, but he, sometimes takes it a bit step further. Steven Crowder is another one who, again, I'm sure a good guy, very open, very outspoken, but his demeanor sometimes is a bit more aggressive. And it's crazy to me because, like I said, Charlie was the nice guy of all these people. I mean, you watch all the news commentary, these people on Fox or CNN or any of their shows, and they get heated, they get aggressive, and that was just nothing I ever really saw him do. I mean, maybe it happened, I'm sure, but I don't want to say he was moderate because he stuck by his beliefs pretty tough. But again, he took the time to reach out to these people. He made it a point to go places where sometimes politicians and all these other people don't go. So he went to college campuses. A lot of people will say that, they care about the kids and they care about young people, but I think he showed it by making the effort to do these massive tours all around. I mean, just recently he was at ISU down in Bloomington, and he still drew a lot of people. And he took the effort to get in touch with young people and, again, shared his beliefs, had debates, had open discussions. And, one thing I always admired about him is he always did a really good job or is adamant about trying to bring things back to his faith. And, again, we don't need to get into a discussion about religion. I mean, we all have our own beliefs. And, I'm not going to say anything negative of anyone who doesn't believe what I believe. But that was a big part of him. And, Jerome, you mentioned how his kids are going to be able to see these videos. And I guess if we're looking for a silver lining, that can be it. Is not only was he out there doing these debates and doing all this content, but it was genuine because he was just sharing who he was and what he believed in. And so at least I don't think any of it was, necessarily false or performative. So hopefully his kids will get a chance. They will know who their father was, what he believed in, what he stood for, and the lessons that he gave to these college kids are preserved and will be able to be passed down to his kids.
Yeah, I mean, he never made it seem like he was going to these places to enforce his ideas and his religion and everything on anybody. He was going to have conversations, and you're not going to see politicians doing that, to your point. You're not going to see anybody else that really wants to hear the opinions of college kids.
Yeah.
And
even if you do, I mean, I think if a politician were someone to do something like this, there's always going to be that thought in the back of your mind that, oh, well, they're just out here, farming for votes. Yeah. They're looking for approval. Yeah. They're doing this. Where, yeah, I think part of the mission of Turning Point was to promote conservatism and to help kind of sway voters and get people, on his side. But I think there's this almost like this fog that hangs over politicians. Like, you can't really fully believe what they're saying because you think they're just trying to get your vote. Mm-hmm. And that obviously wasn't the case with him. I think he did a good job of trying to just be his own true self. And, unfortunately, it's like you said, he was sharing his beliefs and somebody killed him for it. And
yeah, I mean, that's the world that we live in now. There's a lot of danger out there just because you're sharing what you feel.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear opposing thoughts and ideas and beliefs.
Yeah.
And it can get you into a dangerous position, and it shouldn't. But it just does now.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's a little scary because that's one of the things I think was most important about what he was doing is promoting this, because there's a lot of people out there who truly, I think, believe that disagreement equals, disrespect or discrimination, and because of that, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, that you're a bad person. And so, the fact that he was able to do this and did it very well, and there's people who have tried to copy what he's doing even before this happened, and I think that's a great example of, again, who he was. So it's heartbreaking to me to see some of the videos online of people who were like happy that this happened. I cannot understand that mindset to celebrate, the death of somebody who just had different beliefs than you. And, it's just tough to see.
Well, they're the people that won't have the open conversations, that just want any opposing view silenced. Because it makes them feel safer, maybe? I'm not really sure. I mean, I can't really get into the brain of someone that wants someone else that opposes their views to die. So
right.
It's just sad.
Yeah.
That's really all you can say.
Well,
it's sad.
And, it's kind of like what you said, Moss. Like, this is what our country was built on, is debate and disagreement and all that kind of stuff. And so, I guess my goal is that we don't lose that, as a people, as a nation, that we're able to at least still have these kinds of debates and things like that. One of the things I just saw recently, probably last night, I think, was Jimmy Kimmel, the late night talk show host. Supposedly he's got taken off the air for a short amount of time, indefinitely, but we don't know when he's coming back. Based on a comment that he made regarding this, and it had to do with the shooter and trying to claim or say that he was a Republican or that he was a MAGA supporter. And I see a lot of people today who've been posting stuff on Facebook that claiming that this has something to do with the government, or Donald Trump, has forced ABC to cancel Jimmy Kimmel. And, that kind of just makes me laugh, because in my opinion, from what I've read, and I looked into this a little bit in the last couple hours, that the government really didn't have anything to do with this. It started with, I think it was a series of local affiliates of ABC that when they heard about what he said and what was going on, they said, you know what, we don't support that. We're not going to air his show. And ABC found out about it, and they said, you know what, we're going to step back. We're going to take him off the air for a little bit. And I just found out, actually, earlier when I was reading through stuff, that what happened was somebody had contacted him saying, hey, what you said maybe crossed a little bit of a line. We think you should, maybe make a statement, pulling it back. And he had planned to sort of double down on it the night before, and he refused to change that. And I think it was that decision is what caused ABC to say, okay, we're gonna put this on hold.
Well, I think, anytime anybody in any walk of life uses somebody else's misfortune for their own gain, which to me that's kind of what this was. I think he looked at it as a way of potentially boosting viewership, ratings, things like that. I just can't stand that type of person. everybody should stand on their own merits and what they're able to achieve on their own. And when you, especially something as terrible as this, use that
right.
in what seems to be, maybe his intentions were different, but, he gets paid to have viewers. So, to me, it's what 100% of his content is for. So, right. Again, it's sickening. We're talking about a guy that left behind a wife and 2 kids, and for anybody to use that for their own gain or to talk negatively about the person, no matter whether you liked him or not, there's a guy that's gone now. Yeah. So, and I don't have much space for that thought process.
No, and there's a lot of people. It's not just Jimmy Kimmel. There's a lot of people out there, again, trying to point blame at one side or the other for radicalizing. And I will admit, I had a little bit of that thought as well, and I shared some of that because some of the rhetoric that gets tossed out there is pretty aggressive and pretty aggravating. And in the end, like, does it really matter? I mean, this person clearly, I think, had some mental illness. I don't think you can do something like that without suffering from some kind of issue. I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose it. I have no idea. But, it's like you said, it goes back to his kids. And he, being such a big public figure, I think did a really good job protecting his kids from all that. One thing I noticed as I'm looking at, his Instagram and all of his posts, any post that has his kids in them or any video or photo or anything like that, you don't see his kid's face. He always had them turned away from the camera or, covered up with, a baseball cap or something like that. And I think that shows how much he cared about them by trying to at least protect their identities and protect them from anyone, And yeah, I think it just goes to his character a little bit. So I guess we'll see what happens going on. I don't think this is a position that is necessarily going to be easy to fill. I think he was a very unique player in this game, and his shoes are going to be tough to fill, whether it's with Turning Point in general or with these events, these public appearances. Like I said, there's plenty of people that do them, but very few people I think did it as well as him or as kind as he did. Was he always tried to understand at least where someone was coming from. So anyway, moving on a little bit, we're going to get back into some of the stuff we've talked about previously. But before we do that, I think it's important we acknowledge a great non-sponsor of the podcast. And again, we've talked about them before. Can't help sing their praises anymore. It's going to be our good friends over there at Alp Nicotine Pouches, alppouch.com. I was getting gas the other day. I was in the gas station and go up to the counter because I was buying some stuff inside. And I looked behind the counter, and I saw the old nicotine pouches that used to be used. And can you believe if I tell you that a single tin of those pouches is currently $8.39.
Yeah.
And
inflation's a bitch.
Inflation is a bitch for sure. And I would just say this. Not only is Alp a superior product with better flavor, in my opinion, but much cheaper as well. You get a little bit more bang for your buck. So even though
about bang for your buck.
And if you're worried about the shipping, I ordered these things on a Saturday. They came on a Tuesday.
Yeah. You just plan ahead, folks.
They're competing with Amazon at that rate.
They also have a subscription service. You don't have to put another order in. They just send them to you whenever you want. Yeah. It's pretty nice.
Again, not a sponsor of the podcast, but we just want to sing their praises. So not a sponsor, but hey, go on, check it out, alppouch.com. So we were hoping to bring you guys a little bit of live updates from the Chicago Cubs game that's on tonight, but apparently the great people over at Muss's internet service dislike him enough to keep freezing his stream of the Cubs game.
Well, that happened because they canceled my introductory rate for the internet.
Yeah.
And jacked it up quite a few dollars, so naturally I called them and threatened to cancel. And then when the live agent I spoke with didn't give me the rate I wanted, I hopped on their website and talked to their chat bot and negotiated an even better rate.
AI is good for something.
But now it seems, well, they're good for getting you the rate, but they forgot to give me the internet.
Well.
So that comes with it.
Yeah, it's those
They
tiny.
worked with you, but too well because now it's gone.
It's those tiny details that come back and get you. But anyway, we're still going to talk about them. The Cubs, what a year it has been. Top, I think, headline of the past few days. Cubs have secured a wild card playoff position.
First time since 2020.
We're playing ball in October.
We're in the playoffs, baby.
And I got to tell you, though, I was watching the news the other day. I was scrolling through baseball stuff, and I heard a comment that I think is incredible because it made me think it's so true. On track, hopefully, to get 90 wins this year, which is hell of an achievement.
Two more to go.
Big move. This is going to be for lack of a better phrase, the quietest 90-win season that the Cubs have ever had.
So I look at this year in a couple different ways. One, hindsight's 2020. We look at where they're at right now, and we say, "Oh my God, this could be a 100-win team."
Right.
But a lot's gone into that. One, you cannot discount what the Brewers have done this year. They've been phenomenal. But when you look at it on an internal perspective for the Cubs, basically the entire season with no Justin Steele.
Yeah.
So, we floundered around with Ben Brown for how many months, and obviously we see where that got us and that got him back to AAA. Thank God for Colin Ray and Matt Boyd keeping us alive, but we're starting to see the effects, at least on Matt Boyd, of what pitching that workload has done to him. But the injuries don't stop there. And in a 162-game season, everybody has them.
Yeah.
But we've had them to some key cogs in our machine here.
And
so we've had, Miguel Amaya, I don't know if he's even still on the roster. I haven't seen him in so long. He got back for one game and made it about 2 innings and was on the injured list again. So you're without your primary catcher. Kyle Tucker, I don't even know if he's going to be ready for the playoffs. He's down seeing a specialist in Florida for his calf injury. Counsel sounds like like it's not something that's optimistic. And then you combine that with, you got a guy like PCA going through his first legitimate full season of big league ball. And I think that plays a big factor into why he hasn't had the second half like he did in the first half. It's the big leagues. Teams adjust, and if you got a little hole, they're going to find it in your swing. So, to me, this season feels a little bit like 2015.
Yeah.
The difference being this team doesn't have a Jake Arrieta who's going to go out there and throw a 9-inning shutout in the wild card game. Or the wild card. Now it's a round. Now it's the round of 3 games. But they don't have that. They don't have those studs like the 2015 team did. But the similarities are they got young players that are the next core of the team. And the important factor this year is I would love to see them, and after we get through our opinions on this, I'd love to ask what your guys' picks are for how far the Cubs go this year.
I was going to say the same thing.
But I think it's the one of the most important things is that those young guys, PCA, Michael Bush, hopefully Amaya can get back, Cade Horton, Matt Shaw, guys like that. They get a taste of the postseason and what that's like. And what it's like to play at Wrigley Field when the stadium's shaking for 9 innings straight, mind you, not just when something big happens.
Yeah.
And to go on the road and when that same thing's happening, but it doesn't quite feel as good. You don't get that through 162. Just because of the drag, the fans can't bring that every day, and that's something that's different and unique to playoff baseball, and the pressure that's on each individual pitch, each individual time you try to steal a base, everything's at a premium, and if you make a mistake, it can quite literally have your team go home, and that's the similarity I see to 15 is 2016 for the Cubs would not have happened without that 2015 appearance in the playoffs.
Yeah, I remember we talked about it before, being there watching that season and seeing them prep, and it's almost like having that season told them, hey, when we hit the postseason, this is what it's like. This is what you need to be prepared for. And it's like you said, you have injuries hit not just your key guys, but I think the timing is also key.
100%.
The time when these guys went down was such a struggle, and it really caused a lot of issues.
Well, I think the Cubs made a pretty big mistake about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And to me, I think it cost them the division. And that mistake was Kyle Tucker was slumping. And, he came back. Once they benched him against Milwaukee, he came back. He was fine, but then he got hurt again. But during that month and a half long slump, I mean, I understand giving a guy with his track record some grace and letting him hit his way out of it. But at a certain point, you can't win the division in June and July, but you sure as hell can lose it.
Yeah.
So at that point, I mean, that would have been a time to say, hey, baseball does this all the time. Make up an injury for the guy. Put him on the shelf for 10 days. Let Owen Casey come up here, hit 250, 260. It's better than the 150, 160 Tucker was hitting.
Yeah.
Let him get his head right. Let him get his body right. And you never know, we may never know. Is the calf injury he's dealing with now related somehow to the compensation he was making then for the minor hand injuries he was dealing with? Was he tweaking something with his swing that caused problems? And I do think the Cubs cost themselves in that period of time by sticking with him for such an extended period of time.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we talked about even back then. Was because you talk about June or July. That's when when we were talking about the Cubs that we considered them having it locked up,
right?
And you forget about those things.
We were mailing it in.
Yeah, and I'm sure that maybe the team had that same thought as well. I do think it's worth bringing up though. You talked about PCA. And he's had his own issues. He had a slump here and there. I did see a stat, though, the other day that's really cool. PCA is 1 home run away from being the second player in Cubs history with a 30-30 season. And I looked that up. What that means is 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases in 1 year. There is one other player in Cubs history who has done that, and that was Sammy Sosa. And
Cubs Hall of Famer
Sammy, baby.
Absolutely. And, he's only 23 years old. And
Not Sammy.
No, right. PCA.
Sammy's old.
And this was his first season. I mean, if he can keep up that kind of caliber of play, and if the team knows to appreciate that and keep him around, you're looking at a guy who's definitely going to be a contributor. And
well, what I'd like to see from PCA, though, is I appreciate the 30-30. I hope he gets it, because that's incredible.
It's a hell of a
He's
start.
got, 8.5 games left to get one more homer. What I'd like to see, though, is from your center fielder, because there's a good chance this year he's going to win the Platinum Glove.
Yeah.
So what that is the best defender in your league. At doesn't matter position, he gets the Platinum Glove. And which is incredible for a center fielder, because he gets to balls that other guys can't get to, and he makes routine catches on them. But I'd like to see him more in the 20-25 home run range, and get the ball in play a little more often, cut down on that strikeout rate. Mm-hmm. Just recently, the last couple of weeks, he's been hitting the ball to left field a little bit, and that's how you need a team of guys that can do that. Prime example, we were talking about him before we turned these mics on, Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah.
He was a guy, strike one, strike two, he's trying to put the ball in the bleachers. When he gets 2 strikes, though, choked up, swing shortened up, he was content to bloop it over the shortstop.
Yeah.
Grounded up the middle for a base hit. And but PCA is 23 years old. He's going to learn that just getting onto first base is an asset, because then he's on second base.
Exactly. Well, and that's, especially for a guy like him. You talk about Rizzo. I don't remember which season it was, but there's a video of him. Like you said, he gets 2 strikes, and he proceeds to have like a 16, 17, 18 pitch at bat where he works the full count.
Ended it with a homer.
And he fouls off about 10 pitches and ends it with a home run. And I think you talk about just getting on base more being so important. That is something, that's something you learn in high school. That's something you learn in, when you're playing small ball, that don't try to swing for the fences. Don't try to make every hit a massive hit. Put the ball in play. Trust your teammates to help you get around the bags. And, I think if he can do that, if he can, and listen, you want to hit home runs, hit home runs. But if while you're hitting home runs, you're also just getting on base consistently.
Right.
That's going to help your team way more than home runs are going to do.
Quick trivia for you guys. You referenced Rizzo's lengthy at bat with the home run.
Yes.
It was, I'll tell you, it was into right center. Can anybody tell me what team it was against?
No,
No,
I
no
can't
idea.
even- No.
St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
I hate the Cardinals.
Oh, I hate the Cardinals. I think it's nice that you drew a parallel to 2015 and the experience they're going to get in postseason. I have a hot take.
Love hot takes.
Why are we celebrating a playoff berth like we won the NL pennant? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just don't think that
Yeah.
we should be popping champagne
Yeah.
and spraying it all over the place. I think you should be happier in the postseason and trying to win and continue on.
Yeah,
and I think that this year will bring that to them to that point next year. I think that they have the experience. They're happy. Holy crap, we did it. But maybe I'm just a little old school. Like, if you win and you get a playoff berth, okay, cool. I don't care.
Yeah.
I want to win the World Series.
I think
don't
they,
give a shit.
in my opinion, the celebration comes. And I agree with you because, I mean, you can ask my dad. I played semi-competitive ball and playing travel ball, and we got second place in a tournament one time, and I refused my second place trophy. I wouldn't accept it from the tournament organizer, but I think the grind of a season of 162 games where you play almost every single day, I think the celebration is for getting to the end of that and being good enough.
But here's the thing.
to have the opportunity to keep playing. But I agree with your point. Similar to my tournament was, if you don't win it all, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't want a team that is happy with being just good enough.
Getting second
Right.
place,
I want a
getting
team
third
that
place.
is so intense that they see that they got playoff berth. Cool, I don't care.
Right. Of course we're going to the
Who's
playoffs.
the next? Yeah, who's
Well-
the next team that we're going to demolish?
And I think we have some like the resentment you're talking about for the partying after the win, which I do believe directly led to the hangover game yesterday where they nearly got no hit.
100%.
But I think you'd feel a little differently if the Cubs every single year made the playoffs and made deep runs. At that point, you earn the right a little bit to okay, we're doing this, because you're never going to win it every year. You're never going to.
But here's the thing.
But the reason it pisses us off is because we thought we had a dynasty,
Yeah.
and it didn't live up
we
to
did.
expectations.
Yeah.
And then we didn't just flounder in the middle. We bottomed out again.
Yeah.
We thought after 2016, like, okay, we're on the top of the mountaintop. We're gonna stay up here.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
No, not
And
good
not
point.
only
Not
did we
even
not,
close.
we fell all the way back to the bottom.
Yeah,
and
it's a good
it
point.
was embarrassing. And I don't think ownership or anybody in the Cubs brass really understands the fan base in that sense, that in the third biggest market, you can't be a team that gets back to the playoffs every 5 years.
Right.
That's not acceptable.
No. And I don't
it's
want to
just
wait
not.
another 100 years for a World Series. I think, Jerome, you make a really good point, though, because, what were they celebrating? They're celebrating the fact that they are going to the postseason. Great. That's an achievement. Sure. Yeah, worth the celebration if you haven't done it in a while. But here's the deal. Brewers probably clinched their spot. Maybe not they didn't clinch the division, but they clinched a spot in the postseason. I don't know when.
Over a week ago,
Probably over.
probably.
Didn't see them celebrating.
No.
Well, that's because their market's so small. I don't even know if they have the news.
Well,
Yeah, nobody recorded that.
no, they
Maybe
do, but
had
it's
some
mostly
champagne
related
or
to
something.
beer and cheese. But I mean,
I don't know. I think it goes back to the Michael Jordan mentality of, if I'm not winning, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or
I think that's
Kobe
great.
Bryant, like whatever that interview was when they had won. I think they were up 2 or 3 games, and they were like, "Why aren't you happy?" He's like,
we're
"The
not
job's
done yet.
not
We're
over.
not done yet.
Yeah, we're not
The
done
job
yet.
is not over."
Yeah.
Completely agree. And that's the thing that hopefully being in the playoffs this year, those young guys learn. Not that I'm saying I hope they get knocked out in the first 2 games, get swept out of the playoffs, but
Right.
When the Cup in 2015, they had that dramatic series against the Cardinals, everybody kind of learned what the playoffs were.
Yeah.
And then they thought they were the shit. And then they got swept out by the Mets.
Yep.
And then then I think they realize at that point, okay, yeah, you can party, but you better still bring it.
Well, and we've made this comparison a lot of times of this team compared to the 2015, 2016 Cubs. And I think a big part of it is the age that we talk about. Also, back in 2015, very young team.
Yes.
Lots of new players. Again, on top of the world doing cool stuff. But it's like you said, they get in the playoffs and like, oh, this is real baseball. They have that reality check of this is what it takes to win. And they came back next year and did it. And, again, not hoping they lose, like you said, not wanting them to get hit out. But I think if they have that kind of reality check, it can only be better for them going forward.
Beautiful things about the playoffs is you could be the worst team in the playoffs and you get hot.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true.
All it takes is a couple weeks long hot streak from a couple players, and you can do a lot of damage. And especially if those players are your pitchers, where you're not giving up runs.
Well, and that's not just the beautiful thing about the playoffs. I think that's the beautiful thing about baseball, is you can scout and you can look and you can plan, but baseball, you never know what's going to happen. Yeah. And one of the greatest things I heard somebody say, what makes baseball probably the greatest sport, is no matter what, you've got to play. You've got to play a full game. There's no holding the ball. There's no taking a knee. Mm-hmm. There's no running out the clock. You could be down 10 runs in the bottom of the ninth, and no matter what, that pitcher's got to throw the ball over the plate and give you a chance to score. Yeah. And, that's one of the great things.
It's the best game in the world.
Absolutely. I mean,
Jerome was going to argue that golf might top it.
Yeah, but that's why we don't let him talk very much.
That's a whole different conversation. I don't think they really compare. I think that when you explain it like Chester just did, it makes it a little magical, to be honest. Because like in football, like you said, they can take a knee, they can push, they can do all this shit. But in baseball, you have to throw the ball. You got to hit it. You got to catch it. You have to score.
You got to play. You got to play a full game, no matter what. You're playing 9 innings. Yeah. You're going to get out there. You're going to play for 9 innings, no matter what.
It's a beautiful game, and I wish they wouldn't have made some of the changes they've made to it.
I agree. That's a whole other thing.
But it's ultimate team game played by a bunch of individuals, and you hope you have better individuals than the other team.
Yeah. You bring up football, Jerome. You mentioned something about the tush push, and I saw something the other day. If we're going to switch gears to football real quick, just that that's been a big point of controversy, is this whole tush push thing. There was a move to ban it in the offseason, which I think is ridiculous. I mean, there's so many stupid things that the NFL has done lately between, one of the biggest things, the new kickoff rules and the onside kick thing, which blows my mind in every single way, that not only now are you not allowed to do an onside kick unless it's the fourth quarter, you have to let the other team know, hey, just so you know, we're going to trick you, an onside kick is coming. Like, it makes no sense to me.
So dumb.
And that goes back to what you were talking about with the baseball, that the MLB has made all these new rules with, pitch clock and the runner on second base, and you start an extra. I mean, and we've talked about this before. I think we even covered it in our last podcast, that it's an effort to make the games move faster and an effort to sort of pander to people who aren't genuine baseball fans. And I get it. It's a business. It's a market. But this whole thing with the tush push, I saw somebody were talking about the other day. They showed a photo of the Eagles the other week when they were playing. They did the thing again.
The right guard.
The entire offensive line was offsides.
Yeah.
They all lean forward when they're getting started. They're all hanging over the ball. And I agree with somebody made a comment on it, said, if you just enforce the rules and make sure that they're all behind the ball when you start, tush push is never going to work.
Yeah. So. Well, I have we don't know it's not going to work.
Well, yeah, it's going to work less.
It's interesting that just this week was the first time that any evidence came out of anything being illegal about it. Before, it was just, oh my God, we can't stop it.
Yeah.
And if they're doing it illegally, then I agree, make them do it legally. But if you're just complaining about, you should never change a rule because people can't stop somebody from doing something within the rules.
Right.
It's the same as like when people whine about, oh, they ran up the score on us. You know what'll stop them from running up the score?
Defense.
Don't let them.
Right. This is professional.
So if you don't like the tush push, stop it.
Exactly. This is professional sports. This isn't Little League. This isn't kiddie ball. People are going to, you know what? They're trying to score. The offense is out there. What's their job? It's to score points.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to come out. The refs aren't going to save you. Nobody's going to have a rule say, oh, they scored 5 runs. The inning's over. Everyone come back in. No, that's not how it works. You're adults. Grow up.
Yeah, and conversely, if you're a defense and you're shutting somebody out, nobody's going to say, oh, you should let them score a couple.
Right. Professional sports don't care about your feelings. And, speaking of feelings and football, the Chicago Bears.
Woof. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. I remember just last week, we were watching the game, and I was talking to one of my brothers, and I said, listen, never again. Do not let me believe the off-season hype about the Bears ever again. Because I would tell you, I fell for it. I fell for it this year.
I know you
did. We brought in the coach. We had brought in new offense. Like, they got it together. They're going to hit it. They're going to know what they're... It's a disaster. It's new coaches. It's new leadership. It's the same old Chicago Bears not knowing how to play the game.
Well, you were, I guess, super bought in the offseason, and then I remember the first drive of the season they scored a touchdown, and I thought you thought they were going to the Super Bowl.
I was all about it.
And I remember telling you, like, no, just pump the brakes. They're still the Chicago Bears. And what happens is they give you just enough to get you excited, and then they're the Chicago Bears again.
That first game, that Vikings game, I mean, I don't even want to talk about the Lions game. I mean, that was just – and here's the deal. You can talk all you want about the coaches and the players, and the plans for the offense and all this. You can't give up 50 points and think you're going to win a game, no matter what. And I saw a stat just recently when they were talking about it after the Lions game. In the last 5 quarters, so the entire Lions game and that fourth quarter of the Vikings game where they blew it again, the Bears have given up 73 points.
Yeah.
How are you going to win games? I don't care. And here's the deal. If you look at stats, Caleb Williams, I mean, he's missed a lot of passes. He's having trouble, but, like, it's not like he's the worst quarterback in the league. He's still putting up pretty good numbers. He put up, 250 yards. He got a couple touchdowns throughout the 2 games. Like, he's not what I thought he was going to be. He's definitely not what they promised. But he's not out there just throwing the ball away.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, though. You said he's basically saying he's been okay.
Yeah.
He hasn't been terrible. This is a guy that's the number 1 draft pick that was touted as a generational talent. When you have that, okay is not good enough. Yeah. When you have that, the expectation is that not that you're going to take a bad team and make them a Super Bowl contender, but you don't lose games like the Minnesota game.
Right.
You don't get blown out by Detroit. You legitimately carry that team along. You don't miss easy throws.
Well, that brings you to the debate of what's more important, your defense blowing the lead in the fourth quarter, or how many missed drives your offense had that should have continued.
The fourth quarter against Minnesota doesn't matter if you're up 2 touchdowns. If you continue those drives and keep scoring touchdowns.
Right.
Yeah, the Bears, and you brought up the blowout to the Lions. A big portion of why that's going to continue to happen this year is football hasn't changed over time.
Right.
Like the only change that's happened is, you pass it more. But every single good team out there runs the football. The high-flying Chiefs that were winning all those Super Bowls in the last few years, they pass, and at the end of the game, they run on you.
Yeah.
First down.
You got to be able to do both.
And our tailback, he doesn't run north and south. He runs east and west, and you don't get first downs going east and west.
It's the wrong way, buddy.
I mean, that's we used to make that joke in high school, and you'd think professional players would know better than to do that, and it's not going to work. And it's one of those things, okay, people get excited. They're like, well, I don't really care as long as we beat the Packers. Guess what? I care. I want to have a good football team. I want to cheer for a good team. I would love to be able to cheer for my team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like that's happening anytime soon.
No, we're going to need to go to Lids and get new hats for different teams. I'm going for the Bills.
You guys can come to the Eagles squad.
Are you an Eagles fan?
I am.
Since
How
when?
did you not know that?
Well, you don't talk
Never
a
wanted
lot.
to hit you in the nuts more than I do right now.
I mean, I have, but it probably
You've hit
equals
me in the
this.
nuts before. I've liked the Eagles.
I didn't say I haven't.
I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm saying
I
the
haven't
desire
wanted
to
to
do
more.
so.
I've liked the Eagles since McNabb was there.
All right.
And
Mount Carmel's finest.
Amen, brother.
I mean, there's been some bad years, but we had a good year last year, obviously. Super Bowl champions. It doesn't matter how many points you put up if the defense sucks.
Yeah.
And the defense is just garbage.
Again, you can't give up.
I don't think that Caleb Williams is the guy. I don't think he's a killer. I don't think he cares, quite frankly. He was being interviewed last week, and they asked him, how do you define success, or if you had a successful season? And he said, if I'm just accepted for me. I'm like, what do you mean accepted for you? No, Tom Brady would say,
I'm not even going to comment.
if I
didn't
killed
even
everybody
see
and I
that. Are you
destroyed
kidding
everybody,
me?
like, he just doesn't have a killer's mentality. He doesn't have a winning mentality.
Secret
I mean, maybe
patient,
he's
man.
not bad. Maybe he completes his passes. He has, throws for 250. I don't care, whatever. But he's not the guy. He's just not.
What does it say about the team when the most exciting thing the thing I got most excited about recently regarding team news was the extension they gave to Tyson Bagent. Sorry, Tyler.
They
Got a little mixed up here.
need to put him in the starting lineup.
Listen, I'm not going to argue with you on that one. It's tough.
I mean, at least have a package or two designed for when Caleb is both games. He's only been good first drive where he's practiced those 10, 15 plays for a week straight. And then as soon as you got to start being a real quarterback, he's not doing it.
It's a mental thing. I think you're right. That I think is a great insight into his mentality of, what is greatness? Well, nobody cares if people like you. That's not what you're paid to do, man. You're paid to win games.
Let's draw some parallels to the Eagles again. Let's go back to my
Let's do
Eagles.
it. Why don't we?
When Jalen Hurts lost, I think it was a Super Bowl in 2024 to the Chiefs. He stood there and he watched them celebrate. He felt the pain. He internalized it, and he came back the next year. And every snap, every down, he felt that, and he knew his goal was to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You think Caleb Williams is doing that?
No.
He's thinking
I
about
feel like
what
he's
he should
sitting
say.
here right now talking to us. You're so emotional.
Jalen Hurts.
That was so intense right now.
Did you
I
see?
wish I was Jalen Hurts.
We've got to get video going so you guys can experience this fully.
I got the chills thinking about that.
Did you see? Because the Eagles and Chiefs just played last
They
weekend.
did.
Yes.
They did.
Did you see when I forget the guy's name, the stud nose tackle for the Chiefs at the end of the game was barking at Hurts saying, "You didn't even get 100 yards," and he said, "We won the fucking game."
Yes.
Yep. Exactly.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was like, I'm like, you know what?
And
That's the mentality.
That's the mentality of a winner right there. That's what you want as your quarterback. That's what you want being the face of your franchise, leading your franchise. And you're right, Jerome. You do not see that out of Caleb Williams.
No.
You just don't.
No.
I think I kind of see it out of the coach. What's your guy's
Ben
coach?
Johnson.
Ben Johnson.
I don't know his name.
You know,
I think he's an intense guy. I do. I think he is smart and good, and he has a winning mentality.
I
But-
think he's undoing decades of damage that the Bears organization has done to itself.
Well, that's-
and
that
you're
was
not
my
going to
next
do that
point.
in one offseason.
No.
That was my next point: is are the Bears going to allow him to actually create the team that he wants to win? And
Yeah.
I think that the organization just won't do it.
I talked to you about, like, the off-season hype and buying into it and getting all that shit. Ben Johnson was the reason. You see these interviews he gave. You saw the videos of him at practice, like, being all about it, even on the sidelines. And even when they were down 30-some points, he wasn't phoning it in. He was laser-focused.
Yeah.
He wants to win. And I hope that loss to Detroit, his former team, I hope that lit a fire under his ass.
Yeah.
It can light up under his ass, but if it doesn't translate to the team,
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
What one thing, and I've loved almost everything Ben's done. And when you take over a new job, you inherit what you inherit, basically.
Yeah.
You have this. These are your players. That's going to take some time to get the types of guys he wants in. For example, Ryan Poles. He passed up drafting Jalen Carter on your Eagles because they didn't have the culture and the locker room to keep him in line or something like that. And they took you could have had a Pro Bowl All-Pro type player, and you passed on it because it seems like Ryan Poles wants nice guys.
Yeah.
like
Ryan Poles is on his way out,
decent
man.
human. No, he just signed a 5-year extension.
But
Because that's what the Bears do, but I think Ben Johnson, he wants guys that they might get in a little trouble.
he wants some hard motherfuckers.
He wants some edge on his
He
players.
wants guys that are gonna not take shit from anybody.
Right. Who's that guy that got, was it the Dolphins, got arrested on his way to a game?
Tyreek Hill.
He wants a fucking Tyreek
Well,
Hill.
I don't think
I
he
don't
wants
know.
Tyreek Hill. Nobody wants a
I don't
Tyreek
think
Hill.
Tyreek Hill has an edge to him. I think he's just a flashy
What
guy
what
that
he
has
wants,
done well.
what Ben Johnson wants, I believe, is he wants the Brian Urlachers, the Lance Briggs,
Yep.
the Peanut Tillmans.
So
Those guys. He wants those guys that are going to do whatever it takes to, the Mike Hamptons.
Yeah.
That type of, I'm going to get surgery on both knees after the season because I'm going to tear guys up during the season.
I think it's so funny.
Guys like that.
I think it's so funny you bring that up because what I was just going to say was the team does not have, in my opinion, from what I'm looking at, they don't have a figurehead. They don't have a leader.
None.
And even though Caleb Williams is supposed to be your guy, I don't think anybody. Maybe he is inside the locker room. Maybe he's doing all this stuff. I don't know, but it's not visual outside. When we were growing up, I mean, the Bears, who was their guy? It was Brian Urlacher. Brian Urlacher, the hard ass, your linebacker. He was your guy. You talk about Lance Briggs, you talk about Peanut Tillman, all these guys who like you said, put their ass on the line. The Bears don't have anything like that. I couldn't name you 3, defensive all-stars on the Bears.
Well, I heard something the other day in the Ryan Poles era. They've drafted or signed 80-something players, like 82 or 83 players.
Yeah.
Not a single one's made a Pro Bowl since 2022, since Poles got there.
Yeah. You need to have a guy who's going to step up and be like, we're fucking playing football. We're going to get out there. We're going to put their dick in the dirt. We're going to play a hard game of football. And they don't even have someone who's even going to be like, hey, we're scoring every drive. Hey, we're stopping every drive. Like, we're going to do something. They don't have a guy to rally around. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be Caleb Williams, but it's not happening.
One of my problems with the Bears is, aside from the play on the field, is they got a group of guys that love to talk. They got people all over, you turn on 670 The Score in the morning. They're all day long. They got guys doing appearances on there. They're all about their social media, and they're all doing all these things.
Yeah.
Make it translate to the field.
Right.
Last year everybody was saying, "Oh, Eberflus sucks. We need coaches to hold us accountable. He's not watching film with us." Okay, we brought in maybe the best offensive mind in the league.
Yeah.
He's watching film. He does daily meetings with Caleb. Where's the change?
Right.
Where's the change?
And it's like you talked about. Is he able to do that with a team that he brought in or that he didn't bring in? Is he able to do that with a team he didn't build? I don't know.
No.
And, 0-2, again, 2 weeks into the year, anything could happen. But I'm not expecting them to win out. I'm hoping maybe we get to 500. But you've got to see Ben Johnson take control of the team. Yeah. If he's going to share that mentality with his players, they need to feel it the same way he does.
Yeah. Well, after last weekend, if I were Ben Johnson, which I wish I was because I'd be making $13 million a year.
Of course.
I'm not. Open to it, though.
Yeah.
Week 1. I'm a prime example of you gotta set the standard. We're not gonna accept this shit.
Right.
Okay. Week 1. All you gotta do to give yourself a fighting chance to win that game is either kick the ball out of the end zone or kick it out of bounds. Okay?
Oh my God.
Neither one happens.
Oh my God.
The Vikings bring it out of the end zone.
Take the penalty.
Game's over. Yes, exactly. So then, to start game 2 in Detroit, the dumbass kicks it out of bounds.
Yeah.
If I'm Ben Johnson at that point, I'm not even letting that game finish. I'm pulling a Jimmy Johnson and I'm firing Richard Hightower, special teams coordinator, on the sideline.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, this is not acceptable. We went through all these scenarios all week long.
Yeah.
We did all the walkthroughs. And, okay, you're telling me it's not your spot? Then, okay, Santos is gone too.
Right.
I don't care that he's a captain. This is not acceptable.
Right.
And then you come out the next day and say, oh, well, our practices have yet to meet a championship standard. Okay, well, I understand that's what you want, but at a certain point you have to hold that standard accountable to everyone accountable to.
Well, and forget your I want your games to hold that kind of standard. I mean, yeah, and I guess it starts in practice, but it's so funny you bring up that because I didn't even think about that when I was watching that game. That, okay, he's going to try to boot it out of the end zone. Great. Kick it off to the side. I mean, Santos is a pretty good kicker.
Do you know the difference between kicking it out of bounds and kicking it out of the back of the end zone?
What, 15 yards?
5 yards.
35
and 40. Penalty is at the 40. Out of the back is 35.
I thought it was at least 10.
It's a 5-yard penalty.
It's a 5-yard penalty.
But what he did to start the Lions game, he kicked it out of bounds at like the 10. That moved it to the 40.
Right.
Which in that scenario,
Take it.
In that scenario at the start of the Lions game, you want them to return it so you can get them at the 20-25.
Well, and here's the deal. I mean, I'm not saying having that 2-minute warning would have saved the game against Minnesota. I don't think it would have because they were just done.
You don't know, though.
But you don't know. And you get that timeout. You get that TV break in between the scoring and the kickoff. Go to your kicker, and I don't know if, again, I don't think this is necessarily a coaching issue. He's not doing the same kind of shit that Eberflus did. But think about it. Have that option. Hey, if you don't think you can boot it out of the end zone, just shank it. Kick it out of bounds, man.
How do they not know that he can't kick it out of the back?
Well, yeah.
You've been with the team since April.
Well, and did you see when they were showing videos that Minnesota receiver or the kick returner, the whole time he's looking at his coach. And that's that communication. Coach sees him catch the ball. He's like, let's go. Get out. He's waving him out of the end zone. Let's run the clock. Let's take it away from him. You got to, because I think it was, 2:02? It was maybe on the clock or something like that.
2:02 or 2:06.
Stay up for 5 seconds. That's all you got to do, you know? But I don't know. I guess it's one of those things, again, don't ever believe the preseason hype again. The Bears, to quote the coach of the Arizona Cardinals,
they are who we thought they were.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
And if you happen to be listening to this and you're not a Bears fan, we envy you, and please don't ever consider it.
Yeah, definitely not. So
sounds terrible. No,
I'm an
Eagles
fan.
Look at me!
Oh my God!
I should say
it sucks
I do.
bad. Jason Kelsey, I got Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I'm so cool.
And Lane Johnson.
Thank you.
Before we move on real quick, I think it's important to bring up a very important, not a sponsor. It's important we say that. They are not a sponsor, but they are definitely a contributor to the GarageCast, and that would be the cold brewed mountain water Coors Light. Not a sponsor of the podcast, but definitely a contributor to everything you hear here today. I got to tell you one thing I saw that really cracked me up. There's a series of videos going around. I think it's TikTok talking about comparing, the health factors of this and that and blah, blah. There was a guy who did a comparison of the health and the nutritional value of a 6-pack of Coors Light versus a single chocolate chip cookie from Crumble Cookie. And this reminded me of this when I was driving over here. I saw the Crumble Cookie. I drove by. And just to break it down for you guys really quick.
Oh, I'd love to hear this.
6 Coors Lights. It's a nice little 6-pack. Probably what we're going through here tonight. Brings you a total of 612 calories, 0 grams of fat, 30 grams of carbs, 6 grams of sugar, and 5.4 grams of protein. Jerome, I know that means a lot to you.
Protein.
In comparison,
okay,
the basic chocolate chip cookie that you'd receive from a Crumble Cookie, 710 calories, 33 grams of fat, 104 grams of carbs, 55 grams of sugar, and 5 grams of protein. So, you break it down, Coors Light wins in every category.
So what you're telling me is Coors Light is healthy.
What I'm telling you for is if you have your dinner and you're thinking you need a little sweet treat,
have a beer.
Have 6 beers. Pass up on Crumble Cookie. Pass up on Crumble Cookie. Get yourself a 6-pack of nice Coors Light. Again, not a sponsor, folks. I mean, we're open to it. Always open to it.
We're here.
Not a sponsor, definitely a contributor. All right, so before we close out here tonight, a couple of other big things. I mean, listen, I'm going to rack through these topics here, and you guys can decide if you want to cover them or not. You, being an Eagles fan, of course, Jason Kelsey, big guy on the Eagles. Not anymore, retired obviously, but still a big contributor. Not sure if you guys heard. His brother Travis Kelsey, apparently a tight end for the Chiefs,
Big Trav.
recently got engaged.
To who?
Didn't know if he was
To a man?
Well, depends on your opinion.
I don't like the Chiefs. So.
Apparently, he got engaged to a Miss. Hold on, let me check Taylor Swift.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's happening.
that's big time.
Apparently that's news for the music fans out there. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey finally got engaged. I think there was a lot of people who called that happening sometime this year. I did see one of the funniest things ever in the world, and going to find it hard to argue with this one, but somebody commented on the Facebook post or Instagram post, whatever it was, that I think, you see a lot in these celebrity marriages. They usually involve a prenup. And
I would assume so in this case.
I would assume so in this case. Somebody made a comment saying, well, the prenup in this case is probably going to be longer than any book that Travis Kelsey has ever read.
Oh, that's true.
And,
he's probably never read a book.
Well, I'm not sure if he can, to be honest. But I did see a really interesting take on this topic that I can't help but share. There was a guy on one of the shows who was talking about this. He said, you want to talk about prenup? I get it. Protect your assets, protect your money. That's totally fine. Because let's be honest, she's worth way more than he is.
Oh, yeah.
But he said Travis should insist on a condition of this prenup that no matter what happens, she cannot write a song or an album or whatever, a diss album about Travis Kelsey. And you got to think of it. This is where you start thinking, what's the monetary value there? You're protecting yourself, protecting your assets, but this goes south. She can make another $1 billion on a divorce album versus a breakup
certainly
album.
Would. I mean, I would listen to that, honestly.
Well,
because
wait.
Kelsey.
I think that opinion is missing the boat. It shouldn't be that she can't write it. It should be that he gets 50% of it.
That's not bad.
That's a good idea, too.
That's not bad. Anyway, so, hey, congrats.
Cool.
Hopefully,
congrats to them. Hopefully they stay together for
right. You want it to
whatever.
last. Marriage is important. Hopefully it lasts. Good luck to them. Hopefully it stays well. Jerome, I know another massive topic for you was this whole rebranding of Cracker Barrel.
Oh, I love Cracker Barrel.
What's your favorite meal at Cracker Barrel?
Give me the Uncle Herschel special.
What's in the Uncle Herschel?
I don't remember.
But what do we add to the Uncle Herschel special?
I would add about 12 eggs, personally.
I always thought it had 12 eggs because that's what he
No,
always
that's
got.
just the way I order it.
I think, and I should have looked into this, and I did not, so I apologize. I think it starts with at least 3 to 4 eggs. I remember, what was it?
You can get grits. I usually get the biscuits and gravy.
Smart choice.
Great choice.
I think it's the sugar cured ham. It comes with the bone in it. You got to get the ham.
You guys
It's
want to go to
almost
Cracker
the
Barrel?
best part.
I kind of do now. Shit, he's selling me on that. Do you remember when we made that trip to Nashville?
Yeah.
And we drove past like 10 Cracker Barrels, and every single time he talked about this Uncle Herschel special plus 4 eggs.
We should have stopped at every one.
We should have at least stopped at one. I don't know about every one.
Jerome, what do you like more, Cracker Barrel or Waffle House?
Oh, that's a really good question. They're oh god. I want to say Waffle House because of the waffles, honestly.
Wow.
I could do without the
real
ham.
original.
Well, we all just recently had our first Waffle House experience.
Scattered, covered, smothered chunk.
That's the
right.
other thing. Get the what are the potatoes called?
Hash browns?
Hash browns. I'm thinking about ham. I'm sorry, everybody.
Those are two different things.
I know. That is the winner for me, personally. And then I also add about 12 eggs on that as well, but that's a different story.
The cool thing about
Drum
Cracker
eat a
Barrel,
lot of
though,
eggs.
is you can get mimosas at Cracker Barrel. You cannot get mimosas at Waffle House.
Yeah, but I'm eating so much at Waffle House that I can't probably have a mimosa, to be honest. I think the whole rebrand with Cracker Barrel is ridiculous. I mean, it's...
Well, they're
it's
walking
the
it back now.
old-
They're walking
I'm
it back.
glad they are. I really am. I'm glad that the bullying helped and that they... I mean... You gotta call it how you see it.
Public response?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that too.
we're not going to spend our money at your establishment anymore response.
I mean, it's not like it's a high-end luxury restaurant. Like
It is what it is.
It is what it is, and if you're going to change everything, the clientele are not people that want it to be changed, and
Right.
they're not. They don't care. They're not gonna
And what
come and spend their money anyway. They're going to stop spending their money.
Nobody goes to Cracker Barrel
for the logo
to spend $30 on eggs,
No,
because that's what they're heading towards. Is that we need to modernize it. We need to make it look nice. We need to.
Yeah.
No, it's a Cracker Barrel.
Yeah,
we know what we're getting. And shut up and give me my food.
Give me some country fried steak
That's
and some
all I
eggs
want.
and a couple sides of bacon.
Yeah, I'm not going there for health. I'm here to get a heart attack on a plate.
Yeah,
you just
that's
give
what
it
I
to me
want.
and shut up.
And I want to go through your general store and see what you have.
Well, you had to hit the general store. If you don't buy anything in the general store, when you go to Cracker
And I'm obviously going to sit in the rocking chairs for a minute.
and play a little.
Were they going to get rid of the rocking chairs?
They
too?
better not.
I don't know. I don't think it got that far. I mean, they were removing the old timer from the fucking. They were removing the barrel from Cracker Barrel.
That's
I
That
just
should make it make sense.
Cracker.
It doesn't.
well, no, because they were getting rid of him
because
too.
that would be
They were getting rid of him too. I saw, Cracker Barrel came out and they made a response to all this, like, hey, like, we appreciate your input. We're not going to do that anymore. But I did see like a fun. There was some sort. It was definitely had to be like an AI generated like fake response, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it was more of like a blunt response like you would expect from the clientele of Cracker Barrel. Like if the company was just talking straight to them, talking about just all the changes they were going to make. And I think one of the, I don't want to read the whole thing, but I think you guys should definitely go out and try to find it. It's not official. It's not the real one, but it's funny. And it ended with this. So please, America, come back. Forgive us. Sit in the rocking chairs and drown your sorrows in biscuits and gravy. And remember, Cracker Barrel is supposed to feel like Grandma's house, not a corporate diversity retreat gone wrong.
100%.
I'm just like,
That's a good way to say it.
that's it, man. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to just modernize and diversify. People know what they're going for with Cracker Barrel, so don't mess it up.
Yeah, and if you don't want Cracker Barrel, don't go to Cracker Barrel.
Exactly. But listen, I remember going back to that trip we made. That was right around the time there was some couple that was touring the country, going to every single Cracker Barrel.
100%.
Guarantee you that's not happening that's not going to happen if they change it up.
Nope.
It's an icon.
No.
Don't mess.
That couple hit every single Cracker
You're going to
Barrel.
get rid of the golden arches at McDonald's? What is it, just going to be a nice black M on a red sign? No, you're not going to do that. So
Yeah. So earlier I asked you guys, or told you guys, I was going to ask you what your predictions for the Cubs are this year.
No, I forgot about that.
So as we sit here right now, they're going to be playing the Padres
yeah,
in the first series. Also, Cubs are up 4-3 right now. So then,
wouldn't know that thanks to your unnamed internet provider.
yeah, I'm going to have to talk to that chatbot again. But anyways, so we're looking at a wild card series. So for those of you that don't know, that's a 3-game series.
Yes.
And how that works in the playoffs is if the Cubs are able to hold on to that top wild card spot, because the division's gone at this point, unless the Brewers just lose out, it'll be 3 games at Wrigley Field. Maximum 3 games, 2 to 3 games. So Cubs, Padres, first series. Don't know how the rest is going to totally shake out yet. We'd be looking at, in my opinion, Cubs starters are going to be Shota in Game 1, Cade Horton in Game 2. Depending on Horton's length in Game 2, potentially. So Game 1 would be Shota, then Colin Ray.
Okay.
As long relief if Shota gets in trouble. Game 2 would be Horton, and if he gets in trouble, Matt Boyd.
Yep.
And then Game 3, just throw paint at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
Problem being, Padres have a lot to deal with, all the way from their hitting to their pitching. So they got Dylan Cease, obviously, former Cub prospect. So that would be painful if he would, hand us an L in the playoffs. We got Yu Darvish, also former Cub,
Former Cub,
MLBer. That'd be painful if he dealt us an L in the playoffs. And they also picked up Mason Miller at the trade deadline. Maybe the most dynamic young closer in all of baseball. A guy throws absolute gasoline. Just a huge MFer out there on the mound.
Gasoline makes me run.
Something. Somebody the Cubs should have gone after the last couple trade deadlines, and they didn't because they're the Cubs and don't want to spend money.
Yeah.
But also then you go to the Padres offense and you look at, they got Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. As their main guys, and those are guys that can change the landscape of a game in a hurry with one swing of the bat.
Totally.
Not to say the Cubs don't have difference makers too, though.
Right.
The second half of this year, Cade Horton, he has been Bob Gibson. He has been Jake Arrieta. He has been that. He's been the dude.
Can I hit you with a stat real quick?
Let's go.
You talk about Cade Horton. I'm really glad you brought him up. I literally saw this earlier this week. Cade Horton is 8-1 over his last 11 starts and has allowed just 6 total runs.
I hope you hit me with a trivia question after this.
In the modern era, there is only one other MLB pitcher to have 8+ wins with 6 or fewer runs over an 11-start span in a single season, and you just said his name.
Bob Gibson.
In 1968. That is a hell of a stat. And see, it's stuff like that. You see those stats, that is what makes you get excited about this team.
Yeah, but the thing that scares you is you've been that good for that long. Is the playoff start the one where it's not that?
When are you going to fall?
When are you going to fall? Maybe you never will. Maybe he is the next Nolan Ryan. Who knows? But so, do you guys think they're getting out of the first round?
Is the first round the wild card?
First round's wild card, 3 games.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
3-game series.
I have no doubt. I think they're going to get past the Padres and get out of the first. I think they're getting to the division series. Don't know who.
You don't know who they're going to play. You don't know who they're going to play.
I'd like to see them get past the division. I think it's doable.
So I believe then, if they get past the wild card series, unless the other wild card team wins, the third wild card team, then if the third wild card team wins, there's a chance. Although they play the first place, so you're going to have a disadvantage in home road in the next series. So,
well, would that team? Again, I don't know what the bracket looks like. Would that team be the Brewers?
It could,
because if you're playing the Brewers,
could be.
And this is,
well, it depends if the other wild card team wins or not.
Right, but let's assume they don't.
Then you'd probably be playing the Brewers in real round.
Then here comes the question: do road games have that much of an effect?
I think in the playoffs they will, because unless the Brewers are just totally incompetent, which they've proven they're not. They're not going to allow tickets to be sold to Cubs fans.
Yeah,
they're not going to allow it because they see, you get on the internet, they see you're from. Nope.
Yeah,
no tickets.
And that's some shit that's pissed me off over the last few years. You saw that a lot in hockey when the Blackhawks were playing the Predators. That whole thing just blows my mind that they do that. I get it. You want your people to go to your games, and that's fine, whatever. But that just annoys the shit out of me. How are you going to, that they let people do that? Like, oh no, we're not going to sell you a ticket because you're not one of our people.
Well, I see the Cubs winning I see them winning the wild card series.
Yes.
And then I see them fizzling out, which is a similar arc to 2015. Win one series. Granted, they won the division in 15. Or no, they didn't. They had to win. It was a one card or one game wild card
single game. That was the water cooler game.
But the biggest difference is if they had Justin Steele, I'd say they'd make it to the NLCS.
Well,
but they don't, and there's nothing you can do about that now. And my opinion might change if they do not have Kyle Tucker back before the playoffs.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to do. You talked about their pitching. I want to just really
wait. Jerome, how far are they going?
I think they make it past the Padres, and that's it.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a good experience for them, and I just don't see them getting any farther.
Yeah.
I really don't. It's sad, but it's true.
Well, they're very inexperienced. They got a lot of guys that are still figuring themselves out. Matt Shaw, PCA, amongst them. Bush kind of figured himself out, but
is wanting it that bad enough to get past the Brewers, and they haven't shown that this year.
No.
See, to me, wanting it that I don't subscribe. I don't think wanting it more than somebody else makes a difference.
Yeah,
in a game like baseball, because when you want it, you try harder, you grip the bat tighter, your sphincter gets a little tighter when the ball's hit to you. That type of stuff causes mistakes.
Yeah.
It's the team, and that's why the experience is so important.
Yeah.
Because you need your young, good players to get that experience, so when they're there, when you have a legitimate shot at it, they can play loose. And that's when you play at your best. Like you don't. If you're over gripping that bat, you're grounding out. You're pulling a ground ball.
Yeah.
It just is how it is.
you brought up the pitching, and one of the things I've seen this year that makes me excited. Again, it's unfortunately it's one of those things that is touch and go with every single Cubs player, but it's the closer Palencia.
Yeah.
He has been on fire, and then he's fallen off.
Yeah.
But when you look at his intensity, you look at how fast he can throw the ball. I was watching him, a few weeks ago or whatever it was. He's giving me like Zambrano vibes in a closer with his intensity that he throws.
And with his personal intensity, I agree. Also, just his appearance, his body makeup, all that stuff's kind of Zambrano-like.
Right. He's a big dude.
Here's the difference. Palencia's ball, he throws it hard as hell. Straight as an arrow.
Yeah.
Zambrano didn't throw it quite as hard, but that ball danced.
He's got some moves.
The ball, he threw it 98, but it was darting down right, down left.
Yeah.
And when you're in the big leagues and you're facing, these guys are paid to get hits. It doesn't matter how hard you throw it. If you can't locate it and if it doesn't move, they're going to hit it.
So one of the things I've saw that I've actually kind of enjoyed is the hype that they get. Now, you've seen a lot of different MLB teams now this year, like hyping up their closers when they bring them in. Mm-hmm. You've got that guy from the was it Diaz on the Mets?
Diaz on the
with
Mets
that trumpet song.
Yeah, you got Duran on the was with the Twins. Now he's on the Phillies. They like put fire on all the video boards.
Yeah. So Palencia now has got
the light show.
The light show with Gasolina.
Yeah.
So it prompts the question: whether it's hitting or whether it's your closing pitcher, you're coming in to save the day. What's your walkout song?
Ooh,
that's a good question.
My walkout song.
And is it different for hitting versus pitching? I mean,
well, obviously it'd be different. Yes. I think if I were hitting, it'd be Copperhead Road.
Great choice.
I just love that song, Copperhead Road. If I were pitching,
karaoke song.
If I were pitching, which I would never be pitching to close a game because don't throw hard enough.
But if you were.
But if they needed a curveball specialist to close the game.
Oh, Greg Maddux, you might say.
How about you guys each give your hitting song first, and we'll go do a round of pitching.
All right.
Hitting song. I want to say, "I Am a Real American." Wasn't that
yes,
Hulk Hogan's walkout song?
Yeah, that's nice.
I like that.
I was given I think you gave me my walk-up song for hitting when we were in high school. It's got to be "Fat Bottom Girls" by Queen.
Yeah, 100%.
It's got to be, and it's not even the whole. It's that starting vocals with the guitar. That's all you need. I don't know what more you need.
Yeah, beautiful. For pitching, that's tough. You try to think of a song that's like "Turn the Lights Out" or something like that,
yeah.
but like you don't want to be too cliche.
No.
So, I don't know. I'm in between a couple songs, and I think I know which way I'm going to go. And the first one being "Come Sail Away."
Absolutely. No.
Okay.
Absolutely. And listen.
But that backs off. That's my secondary.
Sure.
"Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen.
Yes. You know what? That's perfect. I love it.
Thinking of a song, it starts with chimes. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Keep going.
I got nothing.
Oh, God.
I got nothing.
Yeah,
I think it's
going.
an AC/DC song.
All right.
Hell's Bells?
It's probably Hell's Bells.
Hell's Bells would be solid.
Well, I mean, Hell's Bells starts with bells.
Yeah.
And
Well,
not
maybe it's
chimes.
bells.
It's
I
a,
don't
it's
fucking
a,
If you came in to close dude, if I was coming up to bat, oh my God, and you had Hell's Bells playing, I'd be scared.
if we could just, well, hold on. I want to make sure that we're
Might be
getting the right thing.
copyrighted
I mean,
here,
you got to
but-
know what you're talking about here.
But I come in, Copperhead Road plays, I'm walking up there, and then like you run in, and Hell's Bells plays.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Yeah. There's just a couple little bell tolls.
Yep. Here we go. Yep.
Maybe there's more on the field. Let me see if I can speed
It's
this
fine. The whole stadium goes dark.
Yeah.
And
And
there's
the lights.
And
spotlight
every time the
on
bell,
me.
every time the bell hits, the lights come on.
Yep.
That little strobe action.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd fuck with
And I'm
that.
walking out, and I just look like I'm ready to.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I like
solid.
that.
I like that. That's good.
That's an intimidating
really
song
good. That's
for a
nice.
closer. Hell yeah.
I was not expecting to come up with two different songs here because I thought, listen, in my opinion, Fat Bottom Girls works both ways. It just gets
You can't do the same song
I'm
twice.
not gonna do it, but you kind
can't,
of put me
you
on the spot. I was gonna say probably something like what is it? The Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's got to be it. I think that's good. Could you imagine like 30,000 people all doing that at the same time?
That'd be sick.
When you're walking out to the mound.
That'd be sick.
So
I'd
that's
love
it.
that.
That's it.
Love that.
All right. So a couple just small. Well, you know what? While we're closing out talk of baseball, let's try to end this on a bit of a feel good story. We've all played little church league softball. Little
It takes two to make a thing go right.
It sure does. I saw a story just the other day. There's a rec league softball team somewhere. I have no idea where they were, but I saw the story. There's an 81-year-old guy plays softball with these people, and they've got a massive group chat. It's got like 14 people on it. Apparently, this old dude gets up, and it's like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, whatever. Sends this beautiful, heartfelt message to the team. It's a bit long, but I'm going to read it for you guys. And so he sends this message out to this 14 people on his softball team. It says, well, guys, just got up to do my middle of the night pee. I have been laying in bed for the past half hour thinking about tonight's game and thinking about the great bunch of guys I'm allowed to play with. I really appreciate the way you guys treat me as an equal and not just an old fart. There are a couple of songs I think of. One is Don't Let the Old Man In, and the other is When Did I Get Old? The first I like, the second I do not. It's you guys that keep me living by the first one. Except for you guys, I would not be playing ball. No daily walks, no light weights. There would be no reason to do those things. It's all of you who keep me going and give me the reason to get out of bed in the morning. All of you should take pride in knowing that there's one old fart you help keep going every day. I don't know if I will ever get another year in the league or not. Shit, I don't know. I don't buy green bananas anymore. But I do know this will be the year of ball play that I will remember, all because of 14 great people. I will do my best to contribute to the team, but some days are better than others. And now that I got that off my chest, I will try to go to La La Land again.
That's beautiful.
That's amazing. And
that's great.
Just one quick share. I saw one comment on that post that's worth sharing. It was someone commented on and said, every single one of them should have texted him back. If they didn't respond, fuck those guys, man. Every single one of them should have texted him back. Yeah. I think that's just it's a cool thing to end on tonight. Just a little bit of a feel
Beauty
good.
of baseball, man.
The beauty of baseball. It's like you said, it's a team sport full of individuals.
What position do you think that guy plays? It's got to be catcher, right?
He's got. Well, he's sitting on the bucket, right?
He's sitting on the bucket
sitting
like
on the
I did when we
bucket.
were hungover.
Yeah, that's got to be his job, right? Minimal movement, not a whole lot of game.
And if a ball goes to the outfield, the pitcher comes in to catch the throw.
Exactly. Yeah, he's playing back.
Yeah.
How much you want to bet that dude hits dingers?
He doesn't hit dingers.
I mean, he's got to be smacking the ball, right?
Maybe that's
pinch runner. Coming in for him. He's the guy smacks it around, gets on base. Pinch runner, catcher.
I mean, I bet he hits a lot of opposite field singles.
Yeah.
I bet he hits a lot of opposite field singles.
I bet he surprises their opponents with how much he puts the ball in play.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see what this guy looks like. I bet he's in great shape.
I knew where they were.
I bet he's in great shape.
I wish I knew where they were from and
We'd go cheer on
I
a
would
game.
totally go plan a road trip to go.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do that. I don't know. Let me look into it some more. We'll get back. But
We're taking the cast on the road.
we're taking the cast on the road. We're gonna get him on. Let's get him on.
That'd be
Get him
great.
Oh my God. So, all right. Well, hey, that's all we've got tonight. Listen, we appreciate everyone being here. If you're listening, thanks for being a part of this. Hey, if you've got feedback, send us some comments. Let us know what you think, what you like, what you dislike, how we can do better. If you got stories you want us to talk about, let us know. But hey, we appreciate everyone being here, being a part of this. Hey, we're gonna just keep on going, and we'll be back hopefully soon with a little bit more of the GarageCast. So that's it for tonight. We're going to see you later, but until then, if you need us, we'll be in the garage.